Hey guys, I'm Meg from LovenStamps, and this is the Monday morning Maker Mornings with Meg. Yeah, that's right. Gotta think about all those words. Anyway, I am excited to share our project with you this morning that features the Flowering Rain Boots stamp set, which is my feature for the month, the one that I'm featuring for LovenStamps Card Tutorials, and today's tutorial is available. If you have an order you're placing this month, you'll get a PDF of this. You place your order with me. And if you place an order over $50, then you get 2 card kits with it too. So the Flowering Rain Boots is a terrific set. It's got some neat greetings in it, and it's really great springtime. It also has really nice dies that coordinate with it and some images that are a little different from other things. The rain boots are darling, all that stuff. So we're gonna pair that with the Flowering Fields Designer Series paper, which includes this gorgeous rainbow tulip paper and then a fun print on the back. And today's card is going to show you what to do when you have designer series paper that you absolutely adore both sides of and you don't want to cover it up. So we're gonna make a triple fold card, which basically gives you a way to kind of have an unfolding message and also lets you feature both sides of the paper, where both sides of the paper actually even show on the front of the card. So lots of great features of this kind of card layout. So I know you're gonna be excited about this. Good morning, Cynthia and Deborah and Cindy and Tanya and everybody who's on there. I think I just saw the notification go by, so we're a little late on Facebook notifications today, but if you're watching later, make sure you say hi, tell us where you're watching from. It's always fun to kind of know where all our community is based. So, all right, I'm gonna flip our camera down and we are going to get started with this fun fold card today. All right. So I've got you guys kind of started here, and I'm going to go ahead and start with the folding of the designer series paper on this so that you can kind of get an idea of how that is going to come together. So I really like to use my Simply Scored board for this kind of scoring. And let me see if I move some stuff around here to get it all on. So the reason for that is that, well, first of all, if you're scoring a lot of things, you can use these little markers to go ahead and you know, mark your scoring spots so that you don't have to measure them each time. But the other thing I really like about it is when I do this, then I'm kind of keeping my scores consistent against each other, so the panels are, you know, the right size each time. So that is really helpful. Now, for this card, the way I'm going to show it to you, we are going to cut our cardstock to 11.5 inches wide, or designer paper, by 5 inches tall. Okay, so 11.5 by 5, and you're going to score. So I've got this sort of positioned on my scoreboard the way I want it to open. Okay, so if this is the pattern that I want up in my main card base, you'll get it as we go along. That's how I'm going to arrange this. That's always one of the things I find when I'm scoring, like, not complicated, this isn't a complicated card, but when I'm scoring cards like this that have a lot of different directions, like, well, which way do you turn it? If the pattern has a direction, it matters. So you're gonna lay it out just the way you would when your card is all the way open for this scoring, okay? And then you're gonna score it at 1 3/4 inches, you're gonna score it 4 3/4 inches, and you're gonna score it at 7 3/4 inches, okay? All right. And again, the specific measurements and photo directions and all that stuff are included in the tutorials, which are my treat for you if you place an order with me this month. And then also available, if you're not planning to place an order, you can get the tutorials in my Etsy shop, the LovenStamps Card Mart. So, all right, so we've got this, and I'm gonna go ahead and zigzag fold, kind of keeping this as my base. I'm gonna zigzag fold on our score lines so that we have this now for our front. And this paper is so ideal for this because those rainbows are kind of set up in a stripe, and it just sort of compresses them. So you have the short version and then the long version, which I love. Okay, speaking of tulips, I am sorry, Petra. I know that we have blizzards coming today for our friends who are in the northern United States. So I should wish you guys the best on that. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to layer this here onto a piece of Mango Melody cardstock, which is a great match for the designer series paper. And so I'm going to go ahead and pop my adhesive here on the back. The Mango Melody layer is just an 1/8 of an inch larger than our card base. So it's like 5 1/8 by 4 and 3 7/8. 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then that is actually going to layer here, get this out of the way, onto our Blackberry Bliss card layer, which is really gonna bring out the purple. So here is what this, we'll get all the purple out of the screen. Here's what this card looks like with the green and the orange. It's very pretty. But then watch what happens to those purple flowers here when I take this and pop it underneath. They are like spring. They really pop out there, which is such a fun effect to see. So one of the really, truly greatest things about Stampin' Up! Is the color system and how all the color things match each other and give you such great design elements to use. So love, love, love. All right, so now we have our DSP card base sorted out, but I know you're really excited to see how we're gonna use our Flowering Rain Boots stamp set to do some decorating for this. So let's look at some elements here that we want to use. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, and let's see, I think we're gonna use our rain boots for this. Now when I mount photopolymer stamps, I always set them on the table and then pick them up with my block. The reason that I do that is especially when you're die cutting, you want to make sure that those stamps, I think I need a bigger block here, those stamps are sort of in their native shape. You don't want them to be like accidentally twisted like these tulip tops, because if you do that, then they are not going to match the die when you try to die cut them. So just always remember to pick them up that way. And a lot of times I don't show you mounting the stamps, so I just thought I'd show you that today. Plus then you can kind of get them centered for your greetings. Not that it matters, but all right. And then I think we need this seed packet. We'll pop that on a block. We have a lot of really fun, when you have a DSP card base like this, it gives you a really fun opportunity to use a lot of the images from a set. Now this is another great example. It's really easy to twist this photopolymer stamp. So I'm actually gonna line it up on my grid paper and then pick it up. So that way I know it's gonna be straight. Although, spoiler alert, it doesn't really matter for this card. So, okay. So now we wanna go ahead and stamp some of our elements. And so the colors we're gonna use for this are gonna mimic the ones from our color choices already. So we're gonna go with Poppy Parade, we're gonna go with Blackberry Bliss, we're gonna go with Mango Melody, and we're gonna go with Granny Apple Green, which is a really nice, super saturated green. Although I am looking really forward, I'll show you sneak peek new in color to Parakeet Party, which is a lighter, limier shade that will be coming in the new catalog. So, all right. So let's grab some paper here and we're gonna stamp some of these images. And so rain boots, I think we're gonna do in Mango. When you have a paper that includes a lot of color like this, it gives you a lot of great choices for doing, picking out what colors you want to add to your project. So there's our rain boots, which I kind of messed up. So I'm gonna flip this over and then I'm gonna show you sort of the difference. So I know my pad is pretty well inked. So I'm gonna ink my stamp one more time. I put this mat underneath here and I'm going to stamp my rain boots again. And we get a much nicer image here with the piercing mat underneath. You can kind of see the difference there. I got a better contact of my stamp all the way around. So if you don't get the image that you're expecting, first of all, your cardstock matters. So make sure you're using basic white for the best results. But then also think about how well your pad is inked and think about whether you need to add the piercing layer underneath. So if my stamps were the red rubber, like the ones I used to make our shaker card on Friday, woot woot if you saw that one, red rubber does not need a foam mat underneath because it has the rubber included in the stamp, okay? If you think about, let's see, do I have one handy here? Yep, here's another. Oop, it's a sneak peek stamp too. So in this stamp set, which will be a host stamp coming up, here is an example of one of those stamps. And you can see that that foam is already on the stamp. So you don't need to add it in your sandwich when you're stamping. But for these, there's no foam included. So, all right. And then I think I need one more. Can I fit this on here? Let's see. Oh, here's a scrap, but another sneak peek, unintentional, coming soon to a catalog near you. All kinds of fun things. And then let's go ahead and stamp our greetings since we've got them out. I'm going to go ahead and stamp here on a strip. I always save my edges from when I cut card layers, especially of my basic whites and vanillas, because they're so handy. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this on here. Every storm that comes also ends, which is a great reminder when things are not going the way we would maybe hope. Things can get better. And then I'm going to take this one, which is Rain or Shine, I'm Here For You, and I'm going to put it on another strip that's also a size that I love to save, just a little bit wider, okay? And you can see how beautifully stamped those images come out when you use that paper piercing mat underneath. All right, so now that we've got our elements, what we're going to do is we are going to do some die cutting. And this set has both elements, both dies that match our elements. So our stems and our tulips. Oh, they're there. A moment of panic. I was actually going through some stamps this morning and I found a random die that I needed to sort out and figure out which die set it came from. So, and then there's even one here to go with our element. And then this die here is not a die that cuts out a stamp. It makes a little trowel, which we'll use in another card that I'm featuring this month. And then this fun element, which gives you this cool square lattice. And there are a lot of ways you can use this. So we're going to go ahead and die cut one of these from our Poppy Parade cardstock here to use in our cards. So through the magic of television, I have our die cut elements here all ready to go, and we're gonna have our greetings, okay? All right, so for these, we'll get to this in a second. The other thing that I like when I do a card like this is especially when the designer series paper is really busy in the background, there's so much going on here, and to just like put these tulips on like this, that they just don't stand out very well, okay? So one thing I could do is go ahead and put like a white layer underneath there, and then they stand out much more nicely. Like on some of our other cards, let's see. Like on the card I showed you earlier, I put just a white layer there and did our stamping. And then the back was not quite as busy as this paper, but you know, had some interest to it. This is, I think, episode 265 if you're looking for that card. But we could also use a nice dark element that repeats the color here, repeats the color in the paper, and gives these a really great background to stand out on, okay? So if you see these scalloped contour dies here lurking to the side, you might have already guessed that we're gonna go ahead and use some of these. Now, this is my new go-to. I'm so sad to see the Stitched Shapes dies retiring. Stitched Shapes, or Stitch So Sweetly, sorry. Stitch So Sweetly retiring. So there are these little mini scallops. So if you like the look of these, do not miss them. I forgot to look and make sure they're still available, but they are fabulous. So goodbye to those, and hello to scalloped contours, which are available now, so I'm featuring them. And for this card, we're gonna take the 3 in the middle. So this is a perfect example of why it's so nice to have these nested shapes like this. And we're gonna go ahead and cut them out here from our half sheet of cardstock. Run this through my die cut machine, and through the magic of television, I have my die cut shapes ready to go. So now what we're gonna do is kind of look at which ones we want to go on which page. Now I like to put this one on the front so that it leaves some mystery coming when people start to open their card. And let's see, I need my Seal Plus, which seems to have traveled far afield here. But you really want Seal Plus. I'll grab my tear tape here since I can't find it. You really want Seal Plus for these steps because you want these elements to stay on. You don't want them to pop off when people repeatedly open and close your card because they're like super excited. Wow, look how fun this card is. Okay, so it doesn't pay for it to fall apart. I'm just gonna double check my placement on my tear tape. That looks good because I don't want to seal my card shut by adhering the layers. That is sad. Just sad. Okay, so I've got my back, and tear tape is a great choice instead of the Seal Plus also. They both work really well for these really tough layers. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna just push that down and make sure it's stuck, and you can see how this is gonna extend the front of our card. And now we're gonna look at the next layer of our card. So I am going to pop this layer here kind of in the center so you can see it's still hidden. And I'm gonna pop this layer here just in front of it. Now, I might choose in the front or in the inside of our card to use Stampin' Dimensionals, or this one, maybe not get so much like extra bulk in the middle. I'm gonna pop a piece of tear tape across there, and it doesn't really overlap so much the side, so I'm not gonna worry quite as much. I'm worried about it. I looked at it, we're good. It's just gonna go just a little bit across there so that it kind of leads into the next panel. And then this layer we're going to put inside, and it can just do no problem because it is not a moving layer. It's just kind of stuck down, okay? All right, so we've got our contour layers. Sue says she loves the darker color base for the flowers. Yes, me too. So let's put our boots here on the front, and you can see how beautifully they come here. And watch what happens to this mango layer when I add the boots in. It really pops out, right? Okay, we have our greeting. Now, when you have a vertical card like this and a greeting, like it's hard to kind of get this on here. I guess I could put it across the boots, but I really want the boots to kind of stand like alone. I don't want to cover them up with this. So my solution for that was to go ahead and trim this. Now, I'm going to trim it into little word sections. So before I do that, I'm going to make it a little bit narrower. And one of the great things about the trimmer is that you can get away with cutting little tiny pieces of your cardstock because it really grabs nicely. So I'm gonna layer this in here where I want it. I'm gonna hold down this little handle portion, and I'm just gonna cut, and there we have our little tiny sliver trimmed off. So if you're needing a new cutter, man, I do love that one. So, okay, so we're gonna trim this into pieces. Every storm that comes also ends, okay? So think about where you're splitting your greeting so that you can get, well, first of all, put it back in the right order, but think about like kind of what you're emphasizing by your splits. So, all right, I'm liking that. I'm gonna go ahead and pop a little dot of multi-purpose liquid glue under these, and I'm not gonna make them straight. And the other thing you'll notice is I'm putting my glue on the paper, not on the piece that I have to handle. That's a really great tip. If you can do it, you're not handling glue so much then, and you just set your stuff down and you're in good shape. Now, I like this, but let's see. And plus, if you want, you can pick it up for a second. Another perk of multi-purpose liquid glue. All right, so I have my boots on here, but I really want them to kind of have like a base. They're a little bit floaty right now, and I don't love floaty elements with no base. So I want to use our pretty piece here and pop this on as a base, but it's a little bit narrow and we cover up a lot of it. So let's see what happens if we go ahead and make it into two pieces. So I've just trimmed off that edge there. And then I'm gonna take the second part and pop it kind of down here below. So now if I take my boots and put them on here, we have a much more centered element. It's got a lot, like it belongs here. It's got like a base that it's sitting on. Does that make sense? Okay, so now to attach those things, I think I kind of like them lined up like that. I didn't do that on my sample, but I like it. What I'm gonna do is I am going to use some dimensionals here to attach those. I feel like that might be kind of a long piece there, Meg, but we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna pop the dimensional strip on there. Oh, nope, that works. And then I might do one more so it doesn't twist so much. So use these edge dimensional pieces. They are not scrap, not garbage. All right, so I'm gonna pop this on here and then add my boots back. And I love that this little bit, I do want this one to be kind of vertical here on our card. And I love that we have this little poppy that sticks out on the side, okay? Every storm that comes also ends. I was afraid for a moment that I had my greeting in the wrong order. All right, so now page 2. Good morning, Connie. Now we're gonna go ahead and do our next element. And this is where I really love that we have these tulips that get set aside, and we're gonna add our second greeting here. So this is where one of the strengths of this triple fold card layout with a DSP card base is that you have several panels that you can use to add your greetings. And so your greetings on the card unfold as you go along. Now, oops. Okay, I just overlapped this, so my card's not gonna fold. So here is a great chance for a reminder. I'm not gonna peel this up like this. I'm just gonna twist it, just like that. So what it did is it just sheared the adhesive there on my dimensional, really easy to reposition then and stick down again. Okay, and now my card folds. I'm gonna go ahead and pop my tulips. I think I'm gonna do my tulips flat and my what are these things called? Stems. My stems flat and my tulips raised. And let's see. I don't seem to have my mini Stampin' Dimensionals handy right now, so I'm gonna cut some more edge pieces. And this is another great reason that your edge pieces are handy. And let's see, I'll pop one more on this side. I'm not putting them actually out over here because this is gonna overlap the edge, I think, just a little bit. I really like that element where it kind of leads you to be opening the card one more time. And so I don't wanna put a dimensional here that's gonna stick our card shut, okay? All right, so we have our front, we have our rain or shine, I'm here for you, and then person can open the card like this if they want, or they could open it this way. We have our inside layer. And for our inside, I want to be able to write a message here. So I just have a piece of basic white cut to fit right inside the scalloped line. There we go. Okay, I don't know, can you guys see that scalloped line, right? The detail of it right there. Such a pretty element. And then, let's see, I don't know whether the greetings are meant to go above, or the little label is meant to go above or below. But in any case, we're gonna go ahead and add one more little decor element here inside to just decorate that last panel so that it's not quite so bare. All right, so what do you guys think? Triple layer card with those panels and a great chance to be making the most of both sides of a pretty designer series paper. So we still have that green that's showing beautifully. We have that nice horizontal rainbow line. And just remember, like I showed you at the very beginning of this card, you want to make sure that you're scoring it kind of the right direction when you start so that you have your pattern not upside down, okay? And now that you can see the whole card, I'm just going to show you that part one more time. So remember, we had our card, DSP cards base cut to 11.5 inches by 5, and then we laid it out like we were going to have our finished card. Okay, remember the orientation, just like finished. And then I scored at 1 3/4, 4 3/4, and 7 3/4 to make that fantastic fold. So if you need that part step by step, you can go back and watch again at the beginning, right? Okay, I just can't stop doing this because it is so much fun. These stamps are beautiful. There are so many possibilities for them. I love the greetings included. And really, like, you could use them for anything because the pretty florals are good for stuff, but they're also great for, you know, just reassuring kinds of cards. So, all right. So that is our Monday, which gives you the chance to kind of start off your week. Ooh, sorry for that. I think actually my camera is smart enough to kind of like take out some of that floor scraping squeal. But anyway, I hope that this will kind of get you inspired for your week. maybe come up with some fun card making things that you're gonna do this week. Stamp some cards, share some joy with people. Speaking of sharing joy, if you want to support my channel, you can always send stars through Facebook. If you kind of have sorted out what stars are, I'm always happy to see those. But yeah, I love that we've had a great group here watching this morning. If you have a favorite designer series paper that you love and you think like, oh my gosh, you should do a triple fold card with that designer series paper, you could leave that in the comments. There are a number of them, well, all of them from the annual catalog are retiring. And a lot of them are on special with the last chance products list. So I think in the video description, there is a link. I know there is a link to the supplies included in this project. And then if there's not a link to the last chance product list, I'll add it. But you should definitely check and see what designer series papers you love, because when you're using kind of a big piece like this, having gotten that paper on special is a really nice perk. So, all right, let's see. Terry says, oh, love the explanations, why you place your images and so forth. Yeah, I really think that just sort of looking at our cards is a great way to kind of learn more about stamping, right? So a lot of times as I'm flipping through the catalog, I'll see a card that I think, oh, I really love that. I usually try and stop and think about why I love that. Is it just a really terrifically drawn stamp set that really speaks to me? Yes, a lot of the times. But maybe it's the color choices that I just think, oh, I never thought about that color combination. Or maybe it's the way they put the images, you know, juxtapose those images on top of each other or something like that, that really just centers my attention on it. Anyway, so yeah, think about what you're stamping and get some ideas about what you like and what you don't like. So, all right, guys, have a super fabulous Monday, and I will be back on Wednesday with another Maker Mornings with Meg. And as always, just let me know, leave a comment if you have any questions. So happy stamping. Thanks for watching, guys.